Ah, somebody pooped again last night. Damn it. I gotta clean that up before I put down the next board. That's the problem. They're pooping all over the place. But this new board will stand up to all of that better than this old stuff. One, it's a lot thicker. And two, the guy that suggested it to me said to his boss threw some scrap out in the yard, and 3 years later it was still like it was brand new. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. And so that's what convinced me to buy it. My back door is starting to fall apart, so I'm gonna have to fix it or not use it anymore. And I might have to start doing something with this one to prevent it from coming apart, because it's starting to come apart at the bottom, but everything else still looks okay. But I can't do anything with it till spring because silicone. Well, once it warms up, I can probably silicone it, but basically, yeah. What I have to do is open the door, have somebody hold this in while I push it in, and then close the door. Then what I'll do is I'll silicone it. And I'll probably take some metal strips and bolt them into this metal strip to kind of hold it together. I'll do that up there and across the metal, probably even across the bottom, but I don't know. But yeah, the store's coming apart, so that's a bad thing. And I don't know if I got a leak in the ceiling or the roof still or not. But I found some cheaper Gakko type stuff. It's thinner, it's not as thick, so it may not work as good. But I'm gonna apply that next, because this stuff might have been too thick, if that makes any sense. So what I might do in the future is alternate the two. So it's like if I'll put one layer of one on and then put another layer of the other one on. And maybe that'll help seal things up better, because I had a leak in my camper and I put this blue stuff on and it fixed the leak. So I mean, I had the Gakko on already, but it still leaked. So I put the blue stuff on over the Gakko. I call it the blue stuff because it goes on blue, but then after about a week or two, it turns white. Hey, Shiner. I'll get some food over here too. She still has ringworm. But her and I think Candy might have a little bit. But the rest of them have pretty much developed an immunity to it. Hopefully next year we won't have that problem, and maybe the moms will pass on the immunity to the children. Hopefully. Yeah, this year we lost a lot of cats, mostly kittens, pretty much all kittens. The adult cats were fine. Most of them got over it before I even gave them the medicine. But the medicine's helping as a preventative. But anyhow. Okay. I got the goats in this yard now for the next 3 weeks. They're kind of mad because they want to go back in that other yard. They like that other yard, mostly because they like that other goat house, which I need to finish this one. Look at them. They went back in there. But I can't let you in there. You'll get parasites. I gotta rotate you every 3 weeks. But I'm working on this goat house over here. I got the pallets, sorta. I'm missing the big pallets that I need. So once I get the big pallets that I need, I can finish this. I can go buy some, but that's expensive. I've got one here, and I do have one in the chicken coop I can snag. So maybe I'll go ahead and get started putting this together. Go ahead and cut holes in this so they can at least use it. It won't be as good as the other one yet, but I can work on finishing it. Just get in there, drill holes in the floor so the pee and stuff will flow out when they pee in there. And then I got the boards that I need. This one might work to brace this together so I can put the roof on. But like I said, I want to make a second layer. Make a loft up there for them to hang out. Yeah. Now I'm gonna make this a 2-story goat house where we can actually walk in and not crawl in. So we'll see how that works out. But anyways, that's what I'm working on. But yeah, if I rob the one from the chicken coop, I can at least get this somewhat usable for them. They'll like it much better. And most of the winds come from that direction, so that's why I'm facing the doorway this direction. And then once I get the second layer on, then I'll put a carpet. Well, the doorway is actually going to be out here, but I'll put a carpet over it, over the doorway, so it'll be easy to go in and out, and it'll make a good wind block. But anyhow, that was a distraction. I came down this morning to finish this hay ring. It's a little bent up still because I made it too tight last night. But it's all good. I mean, it's just cattle panels. And it'll kind of sort of bend itself out maybe, you know. Centrifugal force maybe. We'll straighten it out. But probably not. I'll probably have to get out here and do it myself. But it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could probably go 7. I'm gonna go 7 on the next one. See how it works. Cause I could probably go 8, but I'm gonna go 7. It'll be a little tighter than this, but not much tighter. And then 7 will be more than enough for the way I got the hay, the other hay bale. But if they're sideways like this and I can't put them up on end, then I'll need them a little bigger. So, yeah. So I got that done, so they don't climb and jump all over that. and they can push on it and move it around. They already pushed one of my little ones over and stomped on it, or something did. I don't know what it was, but I'm assuming it was the goats, but it doesn't look like the goats would have done that much damage. So I'm thinking maybe it could have been a human. I don't know. But what human could it have been? I'll have to put a trail cam back here to keep an eye on things if I see any more funny business. Two weird things happened this week while I was gone. So if something weird happens again this week while I'm gone, then I know somebody's coming over here and doing something. Who? Don't know. Judas doesn't necessarily have access to the property. He knows I got trail cams up front, but he doesn't know whether or not I have trail cams in the back. And he knows this property better than anybody besides me. So if he can park somewhere and walk and do damage, he would, just to sabotage me. I mean, he did it to Cindy. He walked a whole mile just to sabotage her. So if he'll do that to her, he'll definitely do that to me. So, all right, bye.
A few moments later.
Now here's another idea too. I got passion fruit growing in the middle of that. This is hay from the summer, leftover hay that I took from over here and put it in there. And they're still eating on it, so that's good. Whatever they don't eat will break down and become nutrients for the passion fruit when it comes up in the spring. So that's another idea to do for other things that I have on the property, because I've got similar things like this up front for the passion fruit, the lemon cucumbers and whatnot. So I just get cattle panel rings. You know, they can stick their heads and put hay in them. You know, they can put their heads in there and eat the hay. But this is why I put the cattle panel rings around those boxes. They can keep stuff trim, but then they won't be able to actually get to the center of the box. So anything growing in the center of the box will be protected from them. And this is what I want to do around my wild blackberry patches that I want to keep. The ones that get 6 foot tall. Those are delicious. But yeah, they can stick their heads through and you can eat. I don't know, what is that, about 2 feet? 2 feet in. Now keep them trimmed. And yeah. See, I think what I'll do is I'll steal that pallet from the chicken coop because I don't need it in there anymore. I'll bring it over here and get started on this as soon as I'm done with the cat house. I got the box truck done. And this little shed here, I mean, it still works, but it's 7 years old. David Ray and I built it 7 years ago. And I mean, this isn't much different than what most farmers use for their animals. It's a windbreak, and that's about all it is. But it's really dilapidated. I put a second layer on it, and then Judas was supposed to put this metal on to help protect it, but he never did, obviously. So, you know, that was supposed to basically keep the wind and the rain off of them and preserve this and make it last a little longer. But again, he doesn't do anything. So that's another reason why I got rid of him. But yeah, as you can see, where the metal isn't over here is where it's basically mostly falling apart. That's why I need to get this finished so it don't start falling apart. Now this is all good hard wood, so it'll last a while, but you know, this lasted what, 7 years? This top part here is 7 years old at least. You know, and it's still holding up. It's still holding up. Some boards are better than others. So I mean, I could leave it like this and it'll hold up for 7 years, but I want it to last longer. So I mean, that goat house I built over there will last probably the rest of my life for the goats. Maybe. We'll see. But, and then this one, you know, it'll last just as long, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. The only problem I see is it getting dilapidated because it'll be top heavy where the other one's not. You know, but who knows? We'll see. And of course, it'll have a loft, and the goats will be jumping up there and climbing up there and hanging out up there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how well it holds up. But I think it'll be all right. I think this will be a pretty cool goat house when I'm done with it. If I ever get done with it. No, I will. I will. So yeah. I just need to pull. I need to pull these two together and put a board across to hold them together, like I did with the other one. And then get her done. Okay, I'm gonna go work on that other hay ring real quick before I go get Cindy. I gotta go get Cindy in an hour. But another distraction, but it's a good distraction. So I don't mind. Well, they're not less likely to get their horns caught in this. But if they do, they're not as susceptible to predators inside the property. You want goat fence on the outside because if they get their head stuck in the outside and a coyote comes by, they'll basically eat their heads off and kill them. They can't defend themselves. But inside here, they got a better chance of figuring out how to get themselves unstuck. And because it's cattle panels, it's tougher, it's less pliable, and they're more likely to be able to get their heads unstuck. Where the field fence, maybe pliable wasn't the right word because I think the field fence is more pliable. But anyways, I've seen goats get their heads stuck in field fence, but this cattle panels, like I said, it's tighter, it's harder, so I think they're less likely to get their heads stuck. For what reason, I don't know. But it's just more solid, and maybe they can move their heads around better without getting their horns caught. I don't know. But maybe also this will train them on how to get unstuck without putting their lives in danger. And if that proves not to be the case, well, then I'll just have to switch it up and put goat panels around it instead, like I got over there for the gates. And I thought about putting cattle panels on the gates so the babies can go to and fro, but not the adults. And that way the babies have access to a little bit more nutrients when they're running around. Or if the baby gets caught outside the gate, they can get back in real easy. But then again, don't want a goat to get their head stuck in the gate and a coyote come along and eat their head off. That would be bad. This one here's friendly, so let you pet her. They like to be scratched behind the horns. If you can get close enough to let you scratch them behind the horns. Yeah, scratching their neck, that's where they can't get to the most, so they like for you to do it if you can get them trained to let you do it. It's like, what'd you stop for? Yeah, they like that. Once you spoil them enough, scratching them, they'll come and beg for it. Yeah. I got both the little ones programmed. I just got to get the other ones used to me enough to let me pet and scratch them. The alpha, she won't, and then Paul won't. But Paul's a little traumatized because I had to run around and catch him and chase him and stuff to get him his medicine. But once I get my corral done up front, I won't have to worry about doing that anymore. We never really had a good corral. But, yep. Once I get everything established back here, I'm working on a corral up front, and then I'm also going to start working on like a sick yard. So like if they do get sick, I can separate them and give them their medicine better, stuff like that, you know. But what I'm thinking about doing is getting a Saanen male and breeding with these guys. Instead of the other way around, I was going to do it the other way around. Get Saanen females and breed them with these Nubian, or get a Nubian male and breed them. But since I already got the Nubians, why not just get a Saanen male and breed it with these guys? They're about the same size. Saanens get a little bit bigger than the Nubians, but so do boars. And my veterinarian was saying get a boar and breed it with the Nubians to make a better meat goat. Well, I want a milk goat. So if I could breed a boar with the Nubians, why can't I breed a Saanen with the Nubians? So I might just do that. And I'll just keep this small herd for now until I get my fencing done. And then any offspring that they have, I'll basically eat them. Or sell them. Sell or eat them. Sam-I-am. I'll get back to work. I got 1 hour. I went ahead and skipped the other hay ring because goats were following me. I'll come back and get that later. So, anyhow, this is my little feeder. This is the original feeder that I bought for the chickens, but David wouldn't fill it. David Ray, Judas wouldn't fill it. I had to come home and fill it every week. I'd come home pretty much every week. It was empty. He never would refill it. So that's why I ended up getting the bigger one, because then I didn't have to worry about it, you know. I didn't have to worry about it running dry. And the only thing he had to do is open the doors and close the doors. And he barely did that, but he at least did that. So he let him out. All he had to do is just let him out in the morning and then put him back up at night. That's it. Same with the goats, you know. And then, you know, if there's a problem, report back to me that there's a problem and do something about it. It's like I put money into his account. He had an account in my name. I always was putting money in there for him to take care of things that needed to be done. But over the years, he just did less and less and less. Of course, part of that is because I originally had him on like a payroll. I was giving him 10% of my paycheck, and that was basically to get him started, get him going, so he can get on his own feet and start, you know, earning some revenue around here and getting the land to make money. Well, he never did that. He had plenty of opportunities. In fact, I was investing in different businesses to get that set up for him. But he just never wanted to actually do anything, so nothing got done. Anyhow, but I gradually winged him off of that, you know. He goes around telling everybody it was a tithe, it was a gift. He had no obligation. It was a burnt offering. There was no obligation tied to that money, which is bullshit. You know, it was kind of like a tithe to help him get on his feet, but there was obligation tied to that. He acts like it was just a handout, and it was not a handout, it was a hand up. But since he took it as a handout, I took it away. I was gradually going to take it away 1% per year. He was down to 5% whenever I finally just quit giving him that 5%. You know, every year it's just knocked off 1%. So it started out as 10%, then it was 9%, so 8%, so on and so forth. When he was down to 5%, I ended up cutting him off because he wasn't doing anything. That's when he finagled his way over to Bill and Shirley's greenhouse and was over there for 2 years before they finally kicked him out and he had to come back over here. And so 19, 20, 21, now 22, 3 years later, he's back over there because I kicked him out over here. So he'll be over there for a little while till they get tired of him and kick him out again. And then he'll go somewhere else. Meanwhile, I'm working on cleaning up this greenhouse and getting it ready for plants. Next year, I'm going to do tomatoes on this north wall. It's going to be nothing but tomatoes. I'm going to bring in some tote cages. I'm going to put 3 tote cages here. Yeah, basically where these tables were or are is where the tote cages are going to go. I'm going to have it to where you can walk around them. And so these tables are supposed to be lined up with these bars. It's a little off kilter, but anyways, I'm going to basically do that with the tote rings. I'm going to put one here, put one here, and put one there. And it'll be out a little bit more so we can walk clean around it and pick tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tote cages and put them down, and then I'm going to put the tomato cages inside the tote cages to where they won't fall over. Because when the tomatoes grow up, they tend to get heavy and they tend to topple the tomato cages. So I'm gonna make a heavy duty multi tomato cage and grow the tomatoes inside that. So I'll basically have three types of tomatoes. I'll have the that one is rooted over here. The roots are probably dead now, but the volunteer one was over here. I'll probably have those over here, which are these ones. So I'll have them up by the front door. And then I'll have the brads probably right here in the middle. And then I don't know, I'll have those other miscellaneous ones over here that Cindy had growing. And it'll just be a miscellaneous one. Just any kind of tomato seeds I'll throw in there. Maybe some of these bigger tomatoes. I'll put them in there as well. You know, just whatever. It'll be the miscellaneous tomato cage. Maybe I'll put those in the middle and then put the brads over. Finish eating your bird. You got birds and mice parts laying all over the place. So I'll probably put the brads on one end, put the random ones in the middle, and then put the other ones over here. I forgot what they're called. But they're both good. And the random ones, well, they may or may not be as good, but anyways, we'll see. So I'm working on cleaning this place up. I put down all the paper, all the biodegradable stuff. And then Libby's contributing by bringing in dead animals. But this is the brads. They did really good last year, even with the drought. So they'll probably do good next year as well. She wants attention so bad. Yeah. Crazy cat. She's like, what'd you stop for? She loves attention. They all do. Yeah, they all do. They're all starving for my attention. Anyone's attention, probably. Where's my gloves? Here we go. So I need to bring the medicine up here and put it in one of these barrels. And put the cat food in here. But this is Libby's little humble abode. This was David Ray's little room. I'm going to tear it down eventually and rebuild it. Because, yeah, he never finished in here like he said he would. Duh. But anyways, yeah. But I'll get it finished eventually. I'm mostly working on this front half right now. Trying to get it ready for plants. And then these are all the weeds that I pulled up that were in here. It was just full of weeds and trash. I pulled out a lot of garbage. In fact, most of this paper was stuff he had laying around the greenhouse. And some of it's new paper that my mom brought down, but you know, it's just weeds. He had no plants actually growing in here, hardly ever. And the tomatoes that he was fussing about didn't really grow. They ended up being seed potatoes. I got them growing over at Kaplinger right now. And maybe I'll plant them over here on the north wall. I don't know what I'm going to do with the potatoes. But I might put them over here on the north wall. Haven't figured that out yet. And then this thing. But Yeah. That's what I might do. I might put the tables. What? I might put the tables here in the middle and then let the potatoes grow over here on the north wall. Just let them go crazy. Have sweet potatoes on one end and regular potatoes on the other end. And then, yeah. But David did have a good idea with this. You know, basically have the water drain into these buckets. And then you know you scoop up the water and water the plants. So, but that's something that you would have to babysit, and I'm not going to be able to be here to babysit it. So, that being said, I could hook up some solar electric pumps that would basically just be on a timer and water them once a day. I could do that. Then the water would come out of here and then drain back into there. Or have it come out of somewhere else, water the plants, drain into here. Then whatever overflows will feed the potatoes that are in the ground. Who knows? We'll see. And or onions. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. But I got these new solar lights that I got from Aldi's. They're not that great. But no, Harbor Freight. I think I paid $10 for them. So if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, might be all right. You know, might have some decent light in here. It provided okay light, so we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll go to Springfield today with Cindy. I'm gonna take her to town and pay her taxes, and then gotta go to Bolivar. Maybe we'll make a trip down to Springfield Harbor Freight, and I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and see how it looks. See how it works out. They have these little brackets where I could screw them to a board, but I don't really have a board except right there. So, but once I get this summer, I'm gonna put up boards on the inside and put another layer of plastic on the inside. And at that point, I can probably mount these to that board. Because basically, everywhere there's a pipe, I'm probably going to mount a board there. Yeah. And then run plastic up on the inside. That'll make this a double layer. That's something that David Ray was supposed to do, but never did. I bought the brackets. He just never did the work. And then he tried to steal the brackets. It's like, motherfucker, I paid for those. So he probably stole some of them, but I caught him trying to steal them. So I ended up getting some of them before he took off with them. But, you know, it's like, here I bought the materials to do the job, and then he doesn't do the job and then tries to steal the materials. What a douchebag. But anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna put a second layer in here. And then it'll be even warmer in here in the winter. It's actually kind of nice right now, and it's cold outside. But and then I'm gonna hire somebody to do this hoop out here that David Ray was supposed to do and never did. And then that's gonna be winter crops. We're gonna grow lettuce and stuff like that. So basically, the store will go clean through, and we'll be on that side in the future. And yeah, we'll just have row crops in here for greens, salad greens, and whatnot. Yeah. All right. I was just watching a video of a red-pilled Filipina woman, actually two of them. I just found two new girls for gender equality in the Philippines, which is probably more of them in the Philippines than there are here in the U.S. But mostly I look for my website, I look for girls for gender equality that are in the media, red pill women in the media that I can promote, because we need more red pill women. But anyways, I was watching those two videos by those two women this morning, and then I got up and did my farm work. Now I'm heading over to do some other stuff on my other property, and then take a widow friend of mine to pay her taxes because she can't drive. and then I'm gonna go to town and do some shopping and take her with me. You know, the Bible says, take care of the widows and the orphans. This woman is a red pill woman for the most part. You know, she was a housewife for 30 years and her husband passed away. She can't drive. You know, she's a traditional wife. She's a trad wife. You know, she's not my cup of tea per se. We get along pretty good, but we would not probably get along in a relationship, just friends. So I look after her as a widow, and while she tries to find a decent guy, while I try to find a decent woman, we're just kind of like pseudo boyfriend and girlfriend. She takes care of me like a husband so that she can keep herself in check and training. And, you know, I look after her. Maybe not so much like a girlfriend, but in a way, maybe, you know. But she cooks for me. She doesn't really clean for me, but she tries to help me out on the farm when I have like light duty stuff that needs to be done. She likes to talk too much. So sometimes it's easier and quicker for me to just do it myself. But I try to put her to work. She helps me on tree trimming jobs. She helps with cleanup. You know, I put her to work where I can, help her earn a little extra money. I don't give her handouts. I give her hand-ups. And like I said, she cooks for me and stuff like that. So, I don't let her do it all the time. I should let her do it more often, but I don't. But anyways, what I was trying to say was, this is my new property I just bought a year ago. Working on cleaning it up and fixing it up. My point was, this is my garage. The house next door, or the house that was on this property, got arsoned. And that's why I got a good deal on this property. This used to be a gas station, had a house on it. It's got a garage with a pit, so I can work on my own vehicles. Not that I know what I'm doing, but I can learn. So I'm slowly working on fixing it up. I replaced the bad parts of the roof that needed to be replaced. Boarded up the doors and windows that were broken. And I got some really cool insulation stuff to put in paint to basically make an insulation paint. And then next year I'm gonna foamcrete. It's like aircrete, but you add styrofoam to it. And I'm gonna insulate all the walls with the foamcrete. And the garage door is gonna cost me $3,500 to have somebody else do it for me. But once I got $3,500, I'm gonna have that done. But anyways, my point is, I was thinking about something, and one of my exes, who's like 10 years older than me, brought this to the forefront of my mind when we was dating. And I guess Madonna said this I'm not sure who said it, but some older woman said it. And then I guess somebody else repeated it in a magazine. And then my ex-girlfriend repeated it to me. And she's like, said something like, if you haven't found the right man yet, be patient. He just hasn't been born yet. It's like, well, if a guy said that, he'd be labeled as a pedophile or a predator. But if a woman says that, it's all fine and dandy. You know, I was just thinking about that today. Just now on the way here. I got work to do, so I got to go. But I figured I'd throw that 2 cents out there for my red pill black community. Red pill is just being awake, freedom fighter, you know, the whole 9 yards. Not just being red pill with relationships, but being red pilled everywhere else as well. That's why I created the Red Pill Black, my Red Pill Black channel, for more like MGTOW type stuff, and for promoting girls for gender equality, which I should probably create a channel for that as well, where I can just focus on promoting them on my YouTube, on a YouTube channel. But my videos aren't that great. Most people probably don't like my videos. It's more of a audio commentary that I have to offer rather than a video commentary. So a podcast would be better, but I just don't have time for podcasts unless I just make little short podcasts like this. But my podcast that I have now, or used to have, I have to be on my PC to upload it. I can't do it with the phone. But maybe in the future, I'll start doing short podcasts like this and putting them on a better podcast platform where I can just record audio and upload it. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's my red pill black take for today. Sophie's got rabbits in the back. I gotta go look in on them. And I gotta back in. I shouldn't have pulled in. I need to back in. I got this board I need to cut. I don't have electricity on the farm. It's an off-grid farm. So, but I got electricity over here. So I come over here to cut a board for I'm re-flooring the cat house for the cats. And I got this heavy-duty board. So I got to come over here and cut it and then take it back over there. But I got to check on the rabbits anyways and then go pick up Cindy and go do what we got to do. But yeah. All right, party on. All right, I got the board cut for the cat house. I almost screwed up. I did this side okay. I did the length, then I cut this side, then I measured this side, and I almost cut this piece off when I needed to cut this piece off. I almost screwed up. This is a $60 board. Don't need to be making those kinds of mistakes, but even if I did screw up, this middle piece would have fit still in the cat house. It just would have been, it wouldn't have been as much of a waste, but it still would have been a waste because the piece I need for the next piece is going to be this wide, but I'd rather cut it off of that end so I'd have more scrap over here to potentially use somewhere else. Luckily I didn't screw up, but anyways, we're gonna go check on the rabbits now. I'll do a separate video for that. All right, well, it fits in here. I cut this piece a little bit too much. I think I did 14. I should have did maybe 13. But it's all right. It's all right. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. One thing I did forget to do was this has got that a layer of plywood underneath, so I need to put at least some scrap pieces under here to bring it up a little bit, and that way it'll be level. So I'll do that. I'll get some scrap plywood, the thinner plywood, put it under here. Maybe one long piece here and then a little short piece here. And that'll bring it up a little bit. And it's heavy, so I don't really need to screw it down. But what I do want to do is I want to lock these two pieces together in this wedge. And I might put a tack screw in order to kind of hold it in place. But I don't really need to really put any screws in this. This is heavy duty board. So, yeah. And then whatever gaps there are, I'll end up putting silicone and stuff to fill the gaps when it warms up. There was a table here. I took it out. It's over there. I might rebuild it and put it back in because it was convenient having a table here. But this gives me more room to put like the cat feeder and stuff. And I got this table here anyways. This is where I feed the cats right now. But that cage I had over here on the table, and that's where I gave them their medicine. So that was like my little quarantine whatever. But what I can do is I can put cages up here, and then I can have I can give them medicine. I can give more than just one at a time their medicine. So I keep the wet food in here and some medicine. This is just flea and tick medicine. But I keep that's like the medicine cabinet. That and up in here. But yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll end up putting the cages up here. And I'll make this a section where I'll basically put them in the cages in order to feed them individually and give them their medication individually with their food. And then the automatic cat feeder will be over here. And then all the food will drop down into like a bowl, a big giant bowl. And then they can eat out of the big bowl. So yeah, that's the plan, Stan. So yeah, I'll just go get some plywood, put it underneath here. Cindy decided not to go with me because the roads are kind of bad. So I'm just going to go do my own thing today. But anyways, yeah, I'll get the plywood, put it under here, finish locking these together, and maybe put a couple screws in this one and that one to hold them into place. And then all I got to do is clean this, measure, and cut my next board. But like I said, if I would have screwed this one up, it still would have fit in there. I just, it would have just been a little bit of a waste. But now, the next board will fit up in here. And then the scrap from the next board I can probably use over there in the entryway. And I probably have to just buy one more sheet of plywood. So, but it's coming together. Once I get done with this, I'll work on the goat house and that container up front. And Elizabeth's old camper. I'll turn that into storage for gardening supplies. And then this is obviously the cat house. And I'm going to put some cages up front for newcomer cats. And or maybe just cage off that whole area, make it for newcomers and have a walk-in cage, and then have litter boxes and stuff up there for them. But once I get that done, only that will only be for newcomer cats. The rest of the cats won't have access to it. And their way in is basically back behind here. You can see Callie coming up. There's a hole in the floor. This used to be the bathroom. There's a hole in the floor. They come up, and then boom, they come up in here. So, yeah. It was originally a camper, and then it was I don't know what it was. Then it was a doghouse, and then I bought it. David Ray Judas was going to make it his house. Then he was like, "Nah, I'm good." So I bought it. I thought it would make a good chicken house, and now it's a cat house. This is Donna. She's a biter. Are you a biter? She won't bite my glove, but she'll bite my fingers. But anyways, all right. More drama as usual. But I just discovered I actually still have some alfalfa here on the land, and I didn't even realize it. I got, well, it wasn't here, but now it's over here. I had these alfalfa pellets for the goats, so I could take some over to her rabbits. Basically, she's out of rabbit food. John Akers says he's been feeding and watering them, which he has been feeding them, but he hasn't been watering them, as I can tell. And yeah, and now she's out of food, and nobody told her she was out of food except for me. But she also tends to wait till the last minute to do everything. So it's like, why do you leave yourself? Why do you set yourself up for failure? It's like, here I am. I'm prepared. I got plenty of food for my animals. Tons, for that matter. In fact, I even had leftovers that I didn't even realize I had. That I can go take care of her rabbits. But that's not my job. It's not my responsibility to be feeding her rabbits. That being said, I had to go to Springfield today anyway. So I went ahead and bought some rabbit pellets. But I asked her if she wanted me to get some rabbit food. And she's like, no. And then she's like, Yiska's going to bring some. Well, then that didn't work out. And then she's like, well, if I would have known that, I would have just had somebody go get some. I was like, I asked. Well, I went ahead and got some so that I can have it here on the land just in case this happens again. That being said, they don't really need this grain per se. They don't really need this grain. We can feed them weeds, you know. But I went ahead and bought some good quality rabbit pellets. I don't know what percentage she buys. I went ahead and just bought the 15% protein. They add up to 19. Yeah, 15, 17, and 19. But this was the cheapest. So I bought the cheapest. I could have got the medium grade, which maybe next time I will. But they had just the regular alfalfa, which I already have. And they had this. And get back. So I got this because it has more nutrients in it. And I was like, okay, I'll get this. This is actually for rabbits, where the other stuff's more for goats. But the goat stuff will work to get them by. And like I said, I got hay. I'll take over some hay. I'll throw some hay in the back. And I'll take some hay over there for them as well. And that should get them by until she gets back here. Or till John goes and buys some more food. But again, you know, she needs to be prepared for this crap. And John's not watering them like he says he is. I had to go water them. They were out of water. So he lied. about that. Or at least it appears that he lied. Maybe he didn't lie and they drank all our water. Mimi. No. They smell my food. Leftovers. All right, I gotta go. I'm getting attacked by cats. Okay, bye. Oh, I heard some noise. It was one of us. It was cats. All right. So I went ahead and topped off this. With basically, this is rabbit pellets underneath, smaller. This is the goat pellets, bigger. So, yeah, now I have an emergency supply if there's a problem. And I got a bucket full of goat pellets. I'm gonna take over there tonight, so they'll have some. I'll just go ahead and give them my goat pellets. I didn't realize I still had some left. So, luckily, I didn't drive all the way to Springfield just for rabbit food, because otherwise I'd have been disappointed. I did get rabbit food while I was there, but I didn't need to. And that's not the reason I went. The reason I went to Springfield was to get these solar powered lights that I got for the greenhouse. So, but this is about half of the food that I had left over. So, I'm going to go ahead and take that up there. And that'll get them by till she gets back or till John does something. I don't know. And I got this for the box truck. Since it's leaking, I'm going to put this on the over the spot where I think it's leaking, which is those vents that are on top of the campers and stuff. They always leak. That's usually the first place that the campers and stuff like this leak. So I got these to cover that for now, although I don't know where my ladder is. So I got to find a ladder and get up there. It'll be fine probably till next week. So next week I'll climb up there and put these up there where it's leaking, and then that'll stop the leak until it warms up where I can fix the leak more permanent. And cat litter boxes usually make a more permanent, if you can pick them up cheap enough. Cat litter boxes usually make a better permanent solution. I'll put the cat litter box over the thing, and then I'll basically silicone it, and then I'll put a rock. I'll put a board, because I found out that if you just put a rock on it, it's not good. So I'll put a board on it so the rock doesn't collapse it, and then I'll put the rock on the board, and then then after the silicone dries, then I'll come behind it and put some Gakko roof or something on it, and then take the rock off, and potentially the board too. But because otherwise the cat litter boxes will sun rot and then start leaking again. So it defeats the purpose if you don't put some kind of Gakko roof over the cat litter box. But I'm gonna go over here, lock up my camper, go take care of the rabbits and call it a night. Maybe I'll go ahead and take off early. Goats are taken care of, cats are taken care of. Maybe I'm gonna put those solar lights in. Maybe I'll take off early, head to the truck stop so that I can be ready to go get trailer washed out in the morning so I can go pick up my load tomorrow. That'll at least have a 2-hour jump, on the situation. But I'm gonna go check on the rabbits too. I gotta go check on the rabbits. So, goodbye.